What'd you do that for? Chip demanded. I don't think this is the right way to do this, Jonah said. Sneaking around, looking at papers your parents don't want you to see, calling people. I know you're really mad at your parents right now. Okay, fine. I don't blame you. But this isn't going to help. Calm down. Let them calm down. Wait until you can all sit down and talk about it. Chip shoved hard against Jonah's chest, pushing him away. The phone fell to the floor between them. I don't know what your parents are like, Chip said harshly, but if my dad says he doesn't want to talk about something, he doesn't talk. He grabbed the phone and began punching numbers again. Okay, so maybe family therapist was out as a future career option for Jonah. Maybe you should talk to one of the counselors at school or something, said Jonah. Chip kept punching numbers, stabbing them even harder. Now, I am not crazy, he insisted. Never said you were, Jonah countered. He guessed Chip had hit about 5 of the 7 numbers for James Reardon now. But tell me, what do you think the FBI has to do with your adoption? Chip stopped hitting the numbers. Jonah eased the phone out of Chip's hands. He pressed the button to hang up. Think about it, Jonah said. This Reardon guy probably doesn't have anything to do with you. That post-it must have been on some other paper in there. Maybe, is your dad a spy or something? He's a stockbroker, Chip muttered. He cleared his throat. If he was a spy, he'd probably be on the terrorist side. Maybe he's secretly working for the government, Jonah said. Maybe he's like a double agent and he's pretending to launder money for some terrorist, but really he's reporting everything to the government. And maybe if you call this number and blow his cover, like 5 years of secret agent work will go to waste. And they'll have to start all over again, and it will be all your fault. Jonah had seen a movie once where something like that happened. You think my dad's a hero? Chip asked. Fat chance. But he didn't grab the phone back to begin dialing again. He just stood there looking lost. I just want to know who I really am, Chip said. His words came out as a whimper, the kind of sound no self-respecting 13-year-old boy would want anyone to hear him making. Jonah decided not to make fun of him for it. I do too, Jonah said. You do? Chip asked, and this too came out sounding pitiful. Jonah nodded. Well, yeah, I mean, my parents are okay, and I guess it'd be possible to have a worse sister than Catherine, but sometimes I wonder, who do I look like? Are my birth parents good people who just made a mistake? Or are they druggies, alcoholics, criminals? Are they in jail? Mental hospitals? Did they have any other kids besides me? Did they keep the other kids? Sometimes Jonah's mom would say things like, you have such great dimples and such beautiful eyes. Do you suppose those came from your birth mother or your birth father? Or, you're so good at math, I wonder who you inherited that from. It annoyed him because he knew those lines came straight out of the adoption books, and generally people whose lives were going great, NFL quarterbacks, rock stars, famous actors and actresses, genius scientists, generally they didn't give up their kids for adoption. What bad things had he inherited along with the eyes and the dimples and the ability to glide through 7th grade math? Chip was nodding. Monday morning, he said in a hoarse voice, when I walked into school, I kept looking around thinking, I could have a brother or sister here, and I wouldn't even know it. So I stared at everyone, looking for curly hair and long skinny legs and nostrils that flare out a little. Is that why you walked into that wall on the way to lunch? Jonah asked. Yeah, Chip said. He sounded embarrassed. Jonah eased the post-it note out of Chip's hand. He waved it slightly in front of Chip's eyes. This isn't any good, Jonah said. No matter what, you're always going to have more questions. How do you know? Chip challenged him. Have you ever tried to get your questions answered?